See, that's called corruption.
There's a lot the students' union can do.
The guitar and the double bass, but
To have a safe or secure life.
Southern Alberta continues its recovery following a massive flood. Hundreds of thousands of Albertans were displaced from their homes, and some have little to return to. NUTV's director, Tanya Blakney, is joined today by a family who is affected by these high waters.
Thanks, Alla. And yes, I am sitting here with Donn and Kate Lovett. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy that you are dry and safe today.
So are we.
Absolutely. Now, certainly we all know that it was just a couple days ago that water was flowing down the Calgary streets and in your neighborhood, as I understand. What's going through your mind, you know, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon when you're getting a call to get out?
Well, we got a call noon to be evacuated, and we didn't have to get out till 5. But in our case, in Cliff Bungalow, the water came within a block and a half, and then Mother Nature said that's enough for those folks. So we're actually high and dry. We've been evacuated, but all we're waiting for is power to get back in.
So you're still without power. How's that been for the last couple of days?
Well, we've been back to the house every so often, but we're actually staying with a very good friend of ours up in Mount Royal. So everybody has been so helpful, just like asking if we need anything. Anybody is there. So, and I'm sure that there are people all over the city who are saying that about strangers even.
Oh yeah.
So
we were out helping friends of ours in the south with their basement, and so when you're fortunate the way we were, and then you actually see what disaster these people have gone through, it's shocking. I mean, you've seen the pictures, you've seen the TV, but when you see it firsthand, it's very, very shocking what they've gone through. And yet, people in the city are resilient, and the volunteers are amazing. The city had a tough go over the last couple of days getting organized, but they've got their act together today. Volunteers are being distributed all over the city. And I think in our case, in our Ward 8 our councillor, John Marr, deserves a lot of credit for keeping us organized.
Absolutely, and we'll touch on that a little bit more, but you said resilient, and I think resiliency is a word that really is exemplified in this particular situation. This is the worst, you know, natural disaster that Calgary has seen. As far as I know, the second worst in Canadian history as far as damage and devastation. When we look at High River, you know, homes there are still in water, right? But it is true Albertan fashion to come together and to, you know, solve this problem and help where needed. What's going through your mind when you have a dry house, but you're down sandbagging for friends and family? Yeah,
sort of. It's a bit of survivor's guilt, because you sort of. I have a friend who has a house right on the river, and they're out just getting water out of their basement and ripping drywall down. And he was telling me today that they found 3 live fish in his basement. So set them free into the river. But yeah, we wanted to, like, when we heard that the floods were coming, we wanted to go down to the Joyce, which is our local pub, and just sandbag it and sort of watch the waters ride in.
That's right.
But we decided to save the wine from our house instead when we were being evacuated.
Better safe than sorry, I guess.
Exactly. You have to be prepared.
Fair enough. True Girl Scout fashion, right? You taught her well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we'll say that.
I'll take all the credit for that. That's right, yeah.
You know, back to city, I mean, traffic, I mean, even today is still a disaster. You said the city's finally got it together. Tell me a little bit more about your thoughts on how that process has happened.
Well, at the beginning, I mean, the evacuation went smoothly, and people criticized the city for overreacting. As it turned out, they didn't. By Saturday and then into Sunday, they were disorganized in getting the return done. Today, I've seen a much brighter group of people. I've seen the volunteers organized. I've seen them sent off to help. I mean, I worked with a group that was down from Red Deer because they felt fortunate for the river not getting them. They drove down and just, jumped in. So I think the city's got it together today. So I'm hopeful that we'll be back in tonight. Power tonight, touch, everything.
Touch wood, yeah. We have wood pretend on the set here for you, just for you guys.
That's right.
Now, Calgary's no stranger to traffic. Have you been driving, the last little while around town? Have you found it extra hard to get around, or?
Today was crazy, but we sort of noticed that people are even being nicer on the roads.
Oh, yeah.
But I was staying in the south with my boyfriend, and what happened is we were trying to get down to our house, and we got to 4th Street and 32nd Avenue, and I could see the Safeway. I could see it, but there was just water everywhere, and I was just, let's wade through it. We can get there. But the police officer was like, probably not such a great idea. So we decided to take the longer route, but we had to go all the way to Crowchild and come down 33rd. So everybody's doing that, and the roads are slowly opening up, but people are being considerate and taking the time to deal with the traffic problems.
You mentioned your alderman had done a great job, and the city has now got its act together. What are your thoughts on Mayor Naheed-Nenshie's role in this?
Well, I've been an antagonist over the years to his purpleness, but I don't like anybody's chances to run against him right now. He's done a very good job making people feel comfortable and safe. I got a request from a friend of mine in Montreal asking for a trade. I told him I'd issue a contract after the flood and after the stampede and
you totally
before
have control
Labor
of
Day.
that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course, yeah.
So we've kind of grown up in politics together, and he's done a great job. I have to give him that. Alison Redford has been phenomenal. Harper has looked really bad, but he sent his wife out today, so he must have realized how bad he really looked. So I would say that our politicians are there. The difficulty for people is going to be the frustration after the fact when they're trying to get compensation for the damage. That will be a teller for how organized they are.
And to play off that, what is the process moving forward? As you're hearing from friends and family who have lost basements, have lost homes, have lost everything they have, what can you, in your opinion, what can we expect kind of moving forward in the next days and weeks to come?
Well, do you want me to take that one?
Yeah, go
okay. Redford has put $1 billion on the table right away
Yes.
to do an immediate recovery. I'm guessing with my limited skills that this is a $5 billion operation. So 70% of that will be covered by the federal government. They've got to step up. We've got to hold their feet to the fire. The individual process has really not been established yet. What people are doing right now is cleaning and preparing. We're in phase 2. Phase 3 will be the payment. Absolutely. So we've had the disaster. We're into recovery. Now we got to get the payment done. And that will be that'll be dried off. Yeah, that'll be difficult. If there's going to be any confusion with the payment, you're going to see frayed nerves.
And I much appreciate you guys being here. I have one more question I'm going to ask each of you. Obviously, we don't expect natural disasters of this magnitude to hit home. What is maybe one thing that's been surprising that you've seen happen or take part in the last couple of days following this flood? Something you didn't, when you picture a flood or a disaster happening that you didn't maybe expect would happen?
What I found surprising was the number of people that just came out of the woodwork and called me and texted me and emailed me asking how I was, if there was anything that they needed to do for me. Number of friends offered for me to stay with them. It was insane, the amount of people that just offered themselves up. And I was just so surprised because Alberta has this sort of, some people think that Albertans can be, jerks sometimes, but what has happened in the last week has completely put that under the table. Like, I am aghast at how wonderful these people are.
Testament to who you call friends, though, too,
exactly.
right?
That's right.
Donn?
And for me, it's the universal knowledge of what's happened here. I've received messages from the Philippines. I've received messages from the UK because we're covered on BBC. CNN covered it. It's been an international disaster. And the number of messages from around the world, that's been astounding to me that we're so, we're a universal story right now.
And part of that as well, just to put in my 2 cents, is the social media has played a huge role in that, right?
Huge.
We can connect with people in the Philippines and elsewhere in the world.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the images I will never forget is Harvey the Hound's head being discovered.
Yes.
And the Edmonton Oilers will not take credit for it. So there he is, poor little Harvey.
Poor Harvey.
Yeah.
Well, we are so happy that you guys are safe and dry, and the home as well as safe and dry. Thank you so much for joining us here at NUTV. And for all those out there continuing the cleanup, we wish you the best from all of us here at NUTV. We'll be back with more Full Frontal right after this.